welcome once again to Fearen Fear Files. Alright, I got a nice line up here of videos. We're gonna cover what's going on with this Nolan case. We got a lot of good bangers going on. A lot of good bangers. So guess what? Tune in to this and tell me what y'all think. And like, subscribe, and comment. And tell me how y'all feel about these videos. Let's get down to it.
Suspicions as to whether or not this convenient 3:30 cutoff, and they definitely don't know if it was motivated by race. What they should have said, Art, is what Javon said. All I'm saying is I have my suspicions as to whether or not this convenient 3:30 cutoff window, I have my suspicions that this convenient 3:30 cutoff window may have not actually been the time they saw Nolan. They may have saw Nolan closer to the time he lost his life. Now stay with me, Art. I want to back up for a minute. And I want to say this to Brother Elmore, Nolan's stepfather. And I want to say this to Coach Tracy, who I believe was one of Nolan's coaches. Brother Elmore, the stepfather, and Coach Tracy, the coach, both said on national television, Art, that they don't think race played a role in this at all. Elmore, Tracy, two dark-skinned black men in Mississippi, and both of them said on national television, I don't think race had anything to do with this case. I am disappointed in Brother Elmore. I am disappointed in Coach Tracy. How dare you help these young people avoid the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. federal hate crimes law, Art? By you saying you don't think this had anything to do with race, Brother Elmore and Coach Tracy, you are helping these white folks avoid federal hate crimes charges. And let me tell you why this is important, Art. Let me tell you why this is important. Under the federal hate crimes law, Matthew Shepard, James Byrd, signed by Barack Obama, 2009. Under the Federal Hate Crimes Act, Art, you can go to jail for life. You can go to jail for life under the federal hate crimes law. So if you can go to jail for life under the Federal Hate Crimes Act, Art, why is Nolan's stepfather and coach telling white folks they don't think it had anything to do with race? I still love my brother Elmore. I still love my brother Coach Tracy. But would y'all please watch what comes out of your mouth during this investigation? Because you are undermining justice for Nolan. I hope you're listening, Brother Elmore. And I hope you're listening, Coach Tracy. You are undermining justice for Nolan by saying you don't think race had anything to do with it. How in the hell do you know? How do you know if race had anything to do with it? How well do you know these young people? It was 30 of them, Art. It was damn near 30 white youth spread across 3 boats. How many of them did Elmore know? How many of them did Coach Tracy know? So how are you going to go on TV and say, I don't think it had anything to do with race? Why are you helping them avoid accountability for what they may have done? I don't know if they did it, Art. You don't know if they did it. They don't know if they did it. And they definitely don't know if it was motivated by race. What they should have said, Art, is what Javon said. And that's why I like the young brother Javon. That's why I like that young brother Javon. His mother, Sister Tashima, shout out to you. You raised a good kid. When TMZ asked Javon if he thought it had anything to do with race, Art, when TMZ asked Javon if he thought this had anything to do with race, he said, what? I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Or, Art, they could have said, I don't know. Nolan's stepfather could have said, I don't know if it had anything to do with race. Coach Tracy should have said, I don't know if it had anything to do with race. But to say you don't think it had to do with race when he was the only black boy across 3 ships? Are you out of your mind? Why would you say that and help them avoid the Federal Hate Crimes Act? Javon gave a better answer than those 2 black men. Javon, a child, gave.
Do y'all know the governor of our state of Mississippi just made a fool of himself again? Out of all things this man could have said, out of all the things this man could have said, he goes and says some more stupid stuff. Now he's saying that Al Sharpton and Ben Crump are the reason for all this drama and causing division in the state of Mississippi. And he called it his state. Well, my response to that, if you felt like this was your state, and if you care so much about your state and about unity in your state, why in the Hades, Hell, did you stand up there when a news reporter asked you weeks ago, early on in the case, when they asked him what was his thoughts? First thing he said, well, I've yet to see any evidence of foul play produced, but I'm sure that the authorities that be will get down to the bottom of where they are. And the authorities that be just do not lie in Mississippi. There are federal authorities that be. Not just state authorities and city authorities. There are federal authorities that are getting down to the bottom of this now. But instead of him getting up there and saying something that will bring unity, justice, and equality to the situation, and to show unity in the state, especially with him being governor, could push people to want to do right, he get up there and stand on the back of his Confederate ancestors and regurgitate some old redskin crap off the top of his tongue to keep the pressure off of him. When really and truly, it was said that he had posted early on that he hates what's happening in his state, Mississippi. Early on, he said he hate what happened to the brother, Nolan. And he said that he really hates what's going on in Mississippi. Now he's talking a whole different language. So it makes me wonder. Or they put him in a hot seat. Y'all seen that movie Mississippi Burning? Y'all seen that movie before? Y'all seen that movie when them good old boys that want to do the right thing. Okay, now you saw that movie that Taraj played when she played against the Ku Klux Klansman. Y'all saw that movie when he was in the hot seat. Everybody turned against him. His own kind turned against him. But you know, if you are a Christian or if you are a man of integrity, certain things you just don't do. You got a whole family, and you gonna sit up there and say something like that. What if that was your daughter? What if that was your son? Y'all have bloodhounds, having every black and colored and brown person running, kicking doors in, every doggone thing else, just like on Life. But I'm trying to tell you, it's some crazy people in this world. Out of all things he could have said. That's what he said. And I tell y'all something else too. When this happened, I know what they thought. They thought they were just going to sweep this under the rug, and there was going to be another black life lost, and wasn't nobody going to care. They thought they was going to get away with pretty darn cold-blood murder. That's what he thought. That's what all of them thought. They didn't think that people were going to come out the woodworks. They didn't think that people was going to come out the woodworks for Nolan and the Wells family. But y'all ain't seen none yet. Don't forget now, we got a lot more people from Mississippi. You got Rick Ross, you got Morgan Freeman, you got Oprah Winfrey, you got Snoop Dogg. I can go on and on. Y'all ain't seen them yet, but just because y'all ain't seen them don't mean they ain't coming. Look out now.
I hope y'all ready. Buckle the fuck up. Former LAPD detective claims Diddy ordered the $1 million hit on Tupac and Suge Knight. Allegedly offered the money to the man who would later go to admit that he was involved in Tupac's unaliving, which is this man in the corner right here, Dwayne Keith Davis. Now, former detective Greg Kading has come forward with the whole thing. According to Kading, it was a heavily evolved investigation into the unaliving of Tupac Shakur and Biggie, which we all know Dwayne admitted to taking Tupac out. Now, according to Kading, Dwayne Davis told him that the hit was ordered during a stop on Diddy's 1995 Summer Jam tour in Anaheim, California.
I think it does, and I'll tell you why. Whether you like Sharpton or you have to hold your nose, you don't like him, don't care. But guess what? Every TV was turned on this case because of Crump and Sharpton. You know how many cases I've investigated and nobody cares? Their names are forever lost. Nobody knows their names. Nobody cares. But because those two jumped on the bandwagon or hitched a ride on the bandwagon, I don't know which is true, now there is focus on the Nolan Wells case. And I say, fine.
Authorities have said they suspect drowning. How do you feel about authorities coming out without the investigation being completed? I'm thinking about your former boss, who was like a grandfather to you, that told you don't go to the media until it's absolutely necessary. Timing is everything, et cetera, et cetera. I'm looking at authorities coming out and saying they suspect drowning. I think that's a very presumptive statement to be coming out of their mouth, wouldn't you say?
I don't think there should have been any comment at all. If they had to say something, it should have been along the lines of, we are investigating the case to our fullest ability, and we are open to any information, any help that we can get, and we will find the truth, God willing. I think that's what I would have said if I said anything at all. Maybe they did suspect drowning at the beginning, but they should have kept their pie holes shut because we don't know that it was drowning. Now, the fact that the first ME took the lungs suggests to me that there may have been water in the lungs. That doesn't mean foul play was not involved. How do I know he wasn't hit on the head and thrown over the side? Do I think that's what happened? I don't think anything one way or the other until I have the facts. His friends could be completely innocent, or they may know more than they're telling. We have to find that out.
And the only way to do it is by applying pressure. And in my estimation, the authorities being a bit presumptuous and ahead of the curve and saying they suspect drowning and articulating that, it's almost like their wish was to aim you in a different direction, and the direction towards innocent for these boys, because why would authorities come out so quickly and just say such a thing? That's just my thinking. But I'll ask you this as well. Your thoughts real quickly about the independent autopsy compared to the original autopsy. Your thoughts about that, if any at all.
Oh, I've got plenty of thoughts, Stephen Smith. Plenty of thoughts. First of all, they both are inconclusive. I don't have the first result, so I don't know. The second one is deemed inconclusive. Why? Because the second examiner does not have the throat or the lungs. So a full investigation, an autopsy cannot be completed because this is what they've got to do, and I've seen them do it. I told you about the red subcutaneous markings under the occipital bone.
Yes.
All right. Now, how do I know that's not from a blow to the head? Okay. How do I know that's not from an accident? We are being told today Nolan was drinking heavily. Okay. Even somebody drunk can be a homicide victim. Even somebody drunk can be a victim of an accident. That means nothing to me. Everybody out there was drinking. So what, I'm going to be angry because the victim was drinking? Again, this is not a personality contest. It's not a moral test about his character. Bottom line, I need more evidence because that bruising or hemorrhaging or reddening under the occipital, I got to figure out it's from a blow.
Now she fair, man. She fair. You know what I'm saying? She ain't trying to judge on race or nothing like everybody else is. She trying to get the facts on it, man. Because anybody can be drinking and do anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? So they trying to act like he was drinking. He's no different from the other ones. They were drinking too. So what? You know what I'm saying? That's what she's saying. Let's find. Let's come to the facts. Let's get, you know what I'm saying, to the facts of this. All right. Let's get on back to it.
This is really starting to feel like ritual killings, because why are so many black boys and black men being found dead on a river or a lake after hanging out on a boat with their white friends? Like the case of Jawan Richardson, for example. Take a look at this video that his family posted online. As you can read in the caption, it says, "This is one of my uncle's last snaps before he came up missing." And the video is so strange. As you see, he starts off showing the people around him, but then he turns the camera to the front of the boat, and the way they were looking at him is so awkward. It's as if he knew something was about to happen. And if you don't know about this case, Jawan was a 20-year-old U.S. Army soldier from Alabama. He was also engaged to be married to a white girl. On May 11, he disappeared while tubing on a Kentucky lake. He was with his friends and other soldiers. Now, they told investigators something that just doesn't add up. They said that the tube flipped or popped. They said he entered the water and never resurfaced. His body was found 3 days later. They quickly did an autopsy and ruled it as a drown. But I want you guys to take a look at this video. This is the video that his friend recorded while someone was in the water. Jawan was on the boat at first, but in this video, he's nowhere to be found. The family rejected the idea that he drowned. They said that he was an experienced swimmer and that he had been swimming since childhood. They also said that they received multiple versions of what happened that day, and that's the reason why they're questioning this. And what's even worse, the family says that they have never been allowed to see his body. And they have been denied the autopsy for 8 years. They want to gaslight us to make us believe that these cases are all just accidental drowning, no foul play. But we all know this is a pattern, just different names, different states, different lakes, but the same race.
I'm a grown man. Don't call me a boy.
Well, I don't know if you is. You coming in here?
Would you please tell me what type of case I would receive by just sitting here?
You got trespass. You're about to trespass you right now.
How am I?
You're not gonna be allowed back here anytime.
How am I?
Unless you're arrested. Next time you get arrested, you're gonna be over there. You're gonna be brought before this.
Well,
so you might come end up back here, but you're not gonna be back here anymore today.
This is crazy.
So I just recommend you get up now.
The exact second this arrogant cop barked, "You're way too young to be a judge," he literally flushed his entire career down the drain. He power-tripped hard, accusing the young black man of being a burglar breaking in to steal classified files, completely unaware he was disrespecting the youngest federal presiding judge in the state.
I'm already going to trespass you. All right, this is what you get right now is the charge trespass. And you keep going, you're going to get obstruction. Don't touch me. I'll do you for assault. I'll do you for assault in a police officer. I saw you reaching over there. Well, you need to shut that. You need to get up.
Yo, I got things I need to do.
Don't be touching the judge's marker.
I have things. There's a reason why I'm doing this, sir.
Blinded by prejudice, the officer aggressively pinned him against the desk, shouting, "A thief like you is getting 10 years. Even when shown the judicial badge and credentials, the cop delusionally doubled down, screaming that all the property was stolen and the degree was completely fake to cover up a burglary.
Please. Like, relax, man.
You're tampering with evidence right now, or you're touching your possession of stolen property. Probably.
What's stolen? This is my property. This is my property.
Well, you're right, because
No, take a look. This is my property. This is my property. There's a reason why I'm sitting here.
This isn't your property.
This is my property.
Who do you think you are?
Just as he tried to slap the cuffs on, a famous 40-year-old senior female judge stepped into the room with absolute authority. She pointed directly at the officer and declared, "You are going to prison for making reckless, baseless charges against a federal judge who graduated top of his class at Harvard." The cop's face instantly went completely pale, shaking in pure panic.
Oh, no, you tell me who I am.
All right, you guy sitting in the seat obviously broke in here is what you is.
The guy that's sitting in this seat, who is he usually? What is he?
This is just going round and round. You need to get. You need to get up and get, boy.
It's going round and round.
Excuse me, what's going on here?
Would you please tell him exactly who I am?
Talk about the ultimate instant karma for letting blatant prejudice blind you against a Harvard valedictorian judge. This dirty cop was stripped of his badge, cuffed on the spot, and is now facing massive felony charges. How many years in a state pen do you think he deserves? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and hit follow for the trial outcome.
I found this gentleman broke in here, trespassing, sitting in the judge's seat.
No. You're confused. This is the judge.
The judge? What do you mean the judge?
This is Judge Martin.
I just came back from working out, man. That's the only reason why I got my clothes.
You never told me your name was Judge Martin.
I don't need to tell you my name. You can't look. You can't see. You
messing with me this whole time? Well,
it didn't stop there. The young judge cold-bloodedly flipped open a thick file on his desk, exposing the dark truth. These are dozens of formal criminal complaints from local citizens. You've been repeatedly abusing your badge to conduct illegal home break-ins just to stalk and harass young women. With his darkest secrets completely shattered, the corrupt cop totally collapsed, realizing his life was officially over.
We'll just go ahead.
Would you please escort him out? From what I've seen today, you're going to be fired. Expeditiously.
Your Honor?
I don't want to hear it.
This is all big on misunderstanding, you understand?
Well, yeah, it is. And this misunderstanding is going to cost you your job. Just please.
They're hanging us from trees again. The action that's supposed to happen is that we are immediately supposed to get organized to secure our communities. Neighborhood Watch is a legal action. We could do that, but we won't. And they know we won't, which is why it is open season on Black people in America. Because of our collective unwillingness to take action to protect our communities, to build real infrastructure separate and apart from their systemically racist ones, our inaction is the reason that this violence against our community continues. But nobody wants to have that conversation because you'd rather find excuses to be divided. whether it's colorism, sexism, homophobia, religious beliefs, bonnets and do-rags. Come on. Every week it's another excuse dividing the black community. And every week we hear about our enemy taking one of us out. And there is no accountability. What are you going to do about it? Because if all you're going to do about it is get on social media and complain, nothing will change. I'm calling and emailing all these so-called black organizations trying to get them involved in this National Black Action Convention to take real action. And you know what I'm getting back? Don't want to upset the white folks. We can govern ourselves if we are willing to organize and take action. We can protect ourselves and our community if we are willing to get organized and take action. We can educate our own children if we are willing to get organized and take action. Stop using black suffering to promote yourself, to build your brand. Use your platform for black liberation, or stop talking about black liberation. If you're a coward, then step back. Get out of our way. If you're not a coward, then you need to go to nationalblackactionconvention.org and sign up to get involved so we can build our own institutions. So we can start solving the problems in our community instead of just talking about it. And I don't need to be told what to say or what not to say online. You don't know me, but my name is Melody Angel, and I'm from the south side of Chicago. And I ain't scared of nobody on this earth. What I do for my people. And I will do it to the day that I die, because we deserve peace. We deserve to be left alone. I love you, black man. I love you, black woman. Knowledge is power. Power to the people.
But here's my question to Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton. Here's my question to Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton are, how long are y'all going to wait around before y'all call a spade a spade? How long is Ben Crump and Al Sharpton going to wait around, Art, before they tell the world that they don't think this investigation is being done correctly? How long before Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton demand that the FBI and Department of Justice take over this investigation? Art, it's been over a month and we know nothing. It's been over a month and we know nothing. Now, let me say this, Art. There's several circumstances through which you can demand the FBI come in and take over an investigation. One of them, Art, if there is a suspicion of public corruption or obstruction of justice. The FBI, the Department of Justice, can come in and take over a case on the suspicion of public corruption or obstruction of justice. So you're going to say, Dr. Umar, what evidence do you have of that? First of all, they declared this an accidental drowning before they did any investigation. That's a cover-up. Not only that, Art, they never treated the boat like a crime scene. They never took a look at the other two boats. We have no information at all on the other two boats. Those 30 white kids should have had their cell phones confiscated, investigated. All their social media should have been investigated. Their homes should have been investigated. They should have all been interrogated. They should have been investigated to see if they or their parents had any connection to any of the white hate groups in the state of Mississippi. None of that was done. They gave the boat back to the owner, Art. They gave the boat back. The boat may have been a crime scene, and they gave it back. Now, according to the Cajun Navy, another question for Ben Crump, Art. According to the Cajun Navy, they offered Ben Crump to put dogs on the boat and let the dogs sniff it out to see if anybody had recently been deceased on that boat or if there had been any blood on that boat. And according to the representative from the Cajun Navy, Ben Crump told him don't do it. So I need Ben Crump, respectfully, I'm not accusing him of nothing, Art, but I need Ben Crump to explain to me why you didn't let them use the dogs to sniff out that boat. Why did you not let them sniff out that boat with them dogs? Did you have your own dogs to sniff out the boat? Because if you didn't, why didn't you let them sniff the boat out with the dogs? The dogs can tell, Art, if somebody had recently lost their life or if blood had been spilled. He said Ben Crump told him no. I need Ben Crump to explain that. I need Sheriff John Ledbetter to explain why the boat wasn't treated as a crime scene, potential crime scene. I need him to explain why all them white kids wasn't arrested and questioned. Because if it was black kids and a white kid went missing, Art, they would have all been arrested and questioned. You know that. They would have all been arrested and questioned. And then let's talk about the autopsy, Art. Let's talk about the autopsy. So the Mississippi State Medical Examiner, they do their autopsy July 7th, right? July 7th. And then Nolan's mother requested an independent autopsy, as she should have. They send Nolan's body to Washington, D.C. When the black medical examiner gets the Nolan's corpse, Art, the throat tissue and the lung tissue is gone. How is he supposed to determine if Nolan died from being choked out or if Nolan died from drowning if he don't have the throat tissue or the lung tissue, Art? How is he supposed to do his job and y'all didn't send the throat tissue or the lung tissue? And nobody has explained yet whether or not the medical examiner in D.C. is ever going to get the throat tissue or the lung tissue. And I personally believe, Art, I personally believe Nolan was deceased before he hit the water. I believe Nolan was deceased before he hit the water. And the reason they held on to the throat tissue and the reason they held on to the lung tissue is they didn't want nobody to know that Nolan was murdered before he hit that water. Just like Emmett Till was murdered before he hit that water. Just like Dr. King's brother, A.D. King, was murdered before he hit that water. Remember, Art, when Dr. King's brother was murdered, Reverend A.D. King, they found him in a swimming pool. They ruled it a drowning. And then one of the paramedics said, what, Art? One of the paramedics who took Dr. King's brother out the pool, Art, said he didn't have no water in his lungs. The paramedic said he didn't have no water in his lungs, Art. And plus, A.D. King, just like Nolan, A.D. King, just like Nolan, was a great swimmer, Art. Was a great swimmer. They kept them lungs, I believe. They kept the lungs, Art, because they knew that those lungs would have provided evidence of the fact that Nolan may have been deceased before he hit that water. They kept the throat because it may have shown some trauma that Nolan may have gotten choked out. And then you got the red substance around the back of the head that the DC medical examiner discussed. We don't know if Nolan got hit in the back of the head. We don't know if the blood simply drained to the back of the head. But here's the thing, Art. They say Nolan was found face down in the water. Nolan was found face down in the water, Art. Not only that, Nolan was transported face down to Washington, D.C. So guess what, Art? I have my doubts as to whether or not the red, which is probably blood in the back of the head, the subcutaneous red area, Art, I don't think that has anything to do with the blood draining to the back. You want to know why? Because he was found floating on his face, and he was sent to Washington, D.C. on his face, so the blood couldn't have went backwards, Art. I believe Nolan got hit in the back of the head, and it was that hit that cost him his life. It was that hit that cost him his life. It was that hit that cost him his life. Now, with that being said, Art.
Photos, videos, snaps of that day on Horn Island.
I want people to be very clear with this. I spent my career putting people in jail. My career is based on getting justice for people who have been done wrong. I've never been a defense attorney. So me going out and doing this was to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And in talking to these young men, the burden of proof is they're going to have to prove to me. I'm not going to listen to what they say out of their mouth. They're going to have to show me. And in many cases, they showed me videos of Nolan on the island. They showed me videos of the boat when they were getting towed out, which is consistent with, kind of similar to what the phone call was. I mean, they showed me pictures of them with Nolan. They showed me phone records of them calling Nolan's mom and all of the above. So they seemed very...
All that don't say shit. And they still don't have on the same clothes that they had on when they was with Nolan.
Consistent. They seem very genuine. And they also proved to me some of the things that they had told me in the interview that I had with them that I have uploaded on my YouTube channel.
Officer Tatum, are you telling me that they had reception on Horn Island? Because many people are saying, well, the reason that there's nothing on Nolan's phone of that day, like there's no pictures, there's no snaps, there's no text, there's no anything, not because it was deleted, but because he didn't have reception. But you're telling me the other boys did have snaps, photos, videos, and reception?
Yeah, no, Nancy, let me clarify this for you.
Don't stutter now, Ninja! Don't stutter now!
Yeah, no.
Former prosecutor with nearly a decade of courtroom experiences. Former prosecutor. Nancy Grace is a former prosecutor. Rage Tatum just said he never played a defense. That lets you know he's trying to defend the boys. Check it out, y'all.
It wasn't that they uploaded this online. They showed me videos and things that they took from the boat during the outing on 4th of July. I was personally out at Horn Island. I rode out there on a boat, and I didn't have great reception there. And I left my phone in the boat when I got into the water and we were actually going out to do interviews.
Objection. You've been in court long enough to know you're going to get objections. You said you.
She not playing. She said, shut your ass up. You not used to this right here. You on my platform. Ain't nobody playing with you, boy.
Didn't have great reception, but you did have reception, did you not?
No, there was reception there. It just wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough for people, in my opinion, to upload. You can make a phone call potentially, but you wasn't gonna upload data to a social media account. Now, could people take the steps to do it if they're dedicated enough? Yes, but it doesn't appear that would have been a frequent thing.
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Donald Trump is my president. To this fat, sorry motherfucker right here, your name Po Folks?
Nigga, you know my name. If anybody wanna bring me out my sick bed and get on their ass, it's you. You the same motherfucker that sent me this message right here, right? Oh, you love me. You wanna suck my balls. I guess you're trying to get on, ain't you? I'm gonna address this only once.
Your name should have been fat, sorry motherfucker. The next time you talk about Donald Trump, the next time you run your mouth about the goddamn president, I'm gonna come do something to your fat, funky ass.
Cause you saying like you gonna do something to me. If I say something else about Donald Trump. Well, fuck you, fuck Donald Trump. Chino XL, fuck you too. Fuck Donald Trump's staff, his record label, and your punk ass. Fat, motherfucker, we about the same size, bitch. I done got skin teeth.
You know, you gotta be a maggot to do what you did. You got to be a maggot to do what you did. Yeah, right here reporting that lady to M-Bone, Mississippi Board of Nursing, because you don't like the fact that she rang and asking questions about what happened to her son. It's something wrong with you. You got to be a low-down, dirty dog, dung, digging person to report that lady to the Mississippi Board of Nursing, knowing that lady ain't done nothing to you. It's something wrong with you. All because the lady out here asking questions about her son. And you gonna talk about, oh, that was professionalism, that wasn't ethics. Damn some professionalism and some ethics if my child died under mysterious circumstances. Did you get that part? I said, damn some professionalism and ethics.
Leave a comment. If y'all think that was wrong for that woman to report that woman for trying to find her child, find out information about her child. You know, it's allegedly, I guess, really. But let's find out what's going on here, man. I don't even know.
If my child died under mysterious circumstances, and all I got is some questions about what happened, who saw him last, what he was doing, did he say this, did he do that, who was with him? No, ain't nobody got time for this nonsense that y'all doing. You hear what I said? Because grief ain't cute. In fact, sometimes it can be sick and ugly. It can even be deadly. Yeah. Y'all right here playing with that lady's livelihood, the way she helped provide for her family. Because she out here trying to find out what happened to her son. It's something really pathetic wrong with y'all. And y'all got the nerve to say Mississippi ain't frozen in Jim Crow, racism, discrimination, hatred, bitterness, malice, murder. It is. Don't try to blame this on Hollywood. Oh, Hollywood trying to paint that picture about, the South. It's true. It ain't just Hollywood, it's the South. It's the South for real. You ridiculous. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for reporting that lady. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for sitting down, typing up, writing down, or even making a phone call to report that lady, knowing that lady hadn't done nothing to you. And I tell you this, and I'm going to close this out. I pray that what you reported really happened to you for real by somebody that you know. And then when the people look at it and they review it and they reach a conclusion, they send you something to say, you know what? We didn't find no findings in the matter, even though it did happen. Because that's just what you get. As the word of God said, you reap what you sow.
Yeah, the word of God says you reap what you sow. Why would she do that, man? Try to cause that woman her job, her nursing job, because she's trying to find out about her job. Anyone would want to know what happened to their child, man. Okay, let's get back to it. I get real, Alright, let me get back to the video.
What's the whitest thing you know? Whiter than the driven snow, whiter than the whites of your eyes? Sugar. Non-integrated, non-black, sweet sugar. But you see, there is a black man in your sugar. His name is Norbert Rillier. Norbert Rillier in 1846 invented a vacuum pan that revolutionized the sugar refining industry. Now, you have to dig to find that fact. I mean, it's not much history, but it's still history. Now, what do you stand in? In your shoes. Now, there's just you and your shoes, isn't there? Nope. See, there's a black man standing in your Oxfords with you. Sharing your soul and your heel is a man, his name is Jan Ernst Metzelliger. And in 1863, this is a drawing by the kids, Metzelliger invented the machine that made mass-produced shoes possible. Now, you have to dig around for that fact, too. And again, it's not much history, but it's history. Am I coming in clear to California? I mean, is this TV signal driving through a pass in the Sierra Nevada mountains and slipping into San Francisco? Okay, well, I want to thank you, Jim Beckworth. Jim Beckworth, out of St. Louis, hunter, trapper, and honorary chief of the Crow tribe of Indians. We had trouble finding you, Jim. Though you helped open the West, you didn't make the books. Chicago, right here, where the Wrigley building is. Young fellow by the name of Jean-Baptiste de Sable. Jean-Baptiste, he founded Chicago, when he traded with the Indians. And of course, there it is right there at that particular time. It was called Chicago, or Stinking Onion, by the Indians. And de Sable, he didn't even change the name at all. Now you take the Lewis and Clark expedition here, right in there. You'll find a black man named York helping to open the West. Those men are trying to wash the black out of York. That's what you might call historically significant. Coming to you, Texas, right down the Chisholm Trail, right here. Right down there with 5,000 black cowboys who never made it to the Hollywood Western. Did you know that, huh? In this same group, there was one black outlaw. His name was Deadwood Dick, who claimed his soul brothers were Bat Masterson, Billy the Kid, and Jesse James. Deadwood Dick used to ride into the saloon, order 2 drinks, one for himself and one for his horse. And here's his horse drinking a shot of red eye with a straw. And how about the 186,000 blacks who fought on the Union side during the Civil War? 38,000 died. How about Teddy Roosevelt's charge up San Juan Hill? It wasn't just the Rough Riders who made it. 4 black regiments went right up with Teddy. They didn't get lost going up the hill. They got lost in the history books. How about the North Pole? Snow White? Well, the first man there was black, Matthew Henson. He spoke Eskimo. And he was Admiral Perry's navigator. And although he made it first to the pole, it never quite made it to the history books. And how about your heart? Can we get there? All right. Daniel Hale Williams first performed open heart surgery successfully. And this list could go on forever. Blacks who made it, blacks who made history, but who didn't get into the history text at all. And the strange thing is how little there is about us in the textbooks. Napoleon once said history is a fable agreed upon, and the fable agreed upon up to now is that American history is white on white.
Good morning, Lemonheads. Good morning, Lemon Nation. Okay, I got to get to it really quickly because there's a very big show. Lots of developments and updates that are coming from, I hate to say both sides here because one's a victim and the other, of whatever happened of dying. And then the other is people who are defending themselves against whatever public opinion is out there. Okay, so here's the deal. Hit the like and the thumbs up. It affects the algorithm. More people become aware of our conversation on our channel and the journalism that we're doing here in independent media. So first, I want to tell you the breaking news as it relates to, as I said, this exclusive that we had. I'm going to talk about that. And then there's some breaking news coming up from... there's a letter that has been sent to the head of the FBI and to the Attorney General in regards to this case. Okay, so like and thumbs up. Let me know where you're streaming from and you're watching us from. Charlotte, hello to you. Hello, Tennessee. Thank you all for joining. Okay, so I want to play this audio, and then we have an exclusive response from the law firm or the team that is representing the Nolan Wells case. This was on Dan Abrams' show. Dan Abrams on Sirius XM. You've been on this show. He's been on this show. He's a friend of the show. So I want you to listen to this and then the response from the legal team representing the Wells-Wansley family. Here it is.
Was Nolan Wells, were there messages missing out of his phone? And the second thing is
Absolutely
photos
not.
have come out. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they're saying that there were messages missing off of his phone. His phone was wiped. And another thing, there's pictures of, like with the modern day, with people with cell phones and social media, there's pictures with adults on that boat. There, in one of the adults, they're even saying it's like an affluent crowd, judge, businessman. They were saying it's just kids, but they're adults there.
Right, but here's the thing that they're saying. I don't know who the they is, but go ahead. Tyler, you want to take this one? Or
yeah,
Ed?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I saw a headline a few weeks back that said Ben Crump and the family is going to allow the Jackson County Sheriff's Office access to Nolan's phone. You know what I never heard? I never heard him follow through with that. I have reason to believe, and I do believe, that they have not cooperated with law enforcement. I do not think that they have turned in Nolan's phone. And I'm willing to bet my reputation on that. I don't think they've cooperated at all. They do not have Nolan's phone. They haven't had access to Nolan's phone. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department hasn't. So how can you say that there's text missing or there's photographs missing? Our boys had no reason to do anything with Nolan's phone other than give it back to Christine and her friends later that night. So anything about missing text messages or Snapchats is completely false.
Edward, go ahead.
I'll just add something. And again, this is why you have to...
Hold on, Andy. So just folks are asking what we're listening to. And again, I explained in the beginning, if you're not here in the beginning, you probably didn't know. This is an interview with the attorneys for the boys on Dan Abrams' Sirius XM show. And they are saying that the family has not turned over the phone, Nolan Wells' phone, and they are saying that, to their knowledge, and that there were not any missing text messages or anything that was wiped or scrubbed. That's what they are saying. Okay, continue on just a little bit.
Ground there, or in the water. When I went to the island, when I was fortunate enough to have that opportunity on Friday, one of the things you notice right away is that there's no dock. There's not a boat launch. There's not a dock.
Okay. So you heard what he said. He's saying that they haven't turned over, that they have not cooperated, and that now and to his knowledge that has not happened. So I don't know what they're insinuating or whatever. Okay.
Nancy Grace is involved now. No. Let me tell you something. They should put her on the Epstein files. Yeah. That broad will find out what happened. She'll do it with a lot of makeup, but damn it, she gonna find out what happened. Would you rather have Nancy Grace or Brandon Tatum? I'm not a bright guy, but I'm pretty sure I could beat that idiot in the spelling bee. I'm pretty sure I could. But even Nancy Grace, and she doesn't even get in unless almost every time she finds something that no one else is looking for. I think no one wanted to know. No one wanted to know what happened. I don't think anybody had a vested interest in knowing what was happening. I think that even at the best, a level of disinterest from people in authority. And I think that potentially they thought something, even if it turns out to be nothing, even if it turns out to be a horrible accident, the way that they handled it drew suspicion. It drew suspicion on the part of the people who were in its proximity. It drew suspicion from the people who were supposed to be investigated.
I don't understand how you can say you're not going to talk to the police after something like that. You don't have to.
Well, you don't have to. That really sounds guilty.
But also, if you're my friend and you're missing, if I came back and you're not with me, I am concerned. I'm going to talk to your parents. I'm calling the cops.
They had to go get the phone. Man. They had to go get the phone. I just think that, again, we don't know what happened, but it does speak to the fact, what kind of friend are you and what kind of law enforcement agency are you? Those are my questions. What kind of friend are you and what kind of law enforcement agency do you call yourself when the mother has to get the phone? When you tell us that there's no foul play before where was the whole let's not rush to judgment? Where's the whole let's let cooler heads prevail? Let's just see what happens. I know, where was that? If you're so concerned about him and he was your friend, how come you didn't show your ass up at the funeral? Even OJ was under suspicion. He went to the funeral. These are your friends, but now you don't want to be at the funeral because you think people might talk bad about you? That's crazy. Either you were a shitty friend or you're a shitty liar, but something
you're guilty.
The one thing that's not debate, when you lose your friend and you don't show any concern, when you lose your friend, you don't come to the funeral. When you lose your friend and you don't have a conversation with the family, you're a shitty friend. With friends like that, who needs friends like that?
You fucking touch me again, you black fucking nigger!
I knew you was gonna come out! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Go! No. Fuck! You're going to jail tonight. That lady's going to jail. You're going to jail tonight.
President Trump had the most cringe moment in United States presidential history. So Spain edited Trump out of all their World Cup pictures. Yesterday, Spain won the World Cup. Started celebrating as they should be. And Trump found his way right in the middle of their celebration. And people were saying that he made the United States of America look stupid once again. Look at this shit. All they was trying to do was celebrate.
Oh my God, what a loser.
United States ain't win the World Cup.
Oh my God.
This is crazy, man.
That is so cringe.
That's
Get the
nasty.
fuck out of the shot.
They posted this photo on Instagram. As you can see, in this photo right here is no Trump. But let me show you the real photo. You had Trump right there in that corner. You see they had to edit that man out. If you go on X, you can see the same photo, no Trump. Even FIFA posted a photo, no Trump. Truth of the matter is, the United States of America didn't win the World Cup. Spain is celebrating. Let Spain celebrate. And this is another situation that makes good old America look bad. Congratulations, Spain. I'm out.
Niggas will say stupid shit like, I ain't oppressed. You know what Harriet Tubman said? She said, I would have freed so many more of my people only if they knew they were slaves. All niggas want is comfortable oppression. Niggas is okay with being oppressed as long as it's comfortable. Massa only slapped that nigga 10 times. He only slapped me 9. I'm all right with that. We pick cotton for just 23 hours a day. Now, he didn't make us pick it sun up again, 24 hours. Niggas just want comfortable oppression. And the system understands that we'll feed these niggas hope. We'll feed them false hope. We'll give them 1 or 2 niggas to idolize, to put up on a pedestal, to chase. And it's achievable, but it's not achievable. The system isn't meant for everybody to win. Because if it was, everybody would be winning.
Now, that's one thing that I done heard that's true. I say that the system is not meant for everybody to win, man. It's meant for the one person, the one-sided thing. You know what I mean? You know.
At this point, we may need some investigators to investigate the investigators from the Nolan Wells case, because the stuff that I'm finding is very concerning. I dug up something real sketchy with the chief medical examiner, who is also in charge of Nolan Wells' autopsy. So this is from 2023. The Mississippi Free Press reported Chief Medical Examiner may have mislabeled black man's cause of death. Damian Cameron, a black Braxton, Mississippi resident whose mother alleges that 2 white Rankin County deputies knelt on his back for over 20 minutes, causing death in July 2021. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Stacy Turner said Damian Cameron's cause of death was, quote, undetermined, despite his body being swollen, bloody, and bruised when it came into her office. This is why they are getting an independent autopsy report, which they definitely should be doing. Not only that, guess what? The Coast Guard is now changing up their story. This officer, Cheyenne Bercerdo, with the U.S. Coast Guard Heartland District, originally told Mississippi Television by email that the Coast Guard was not notified about Wells' disappearance until 12/26 on July 5th. Well, they sent a follow-up, okay? And it says it has been confirmed that a friend of the teen contacted the Coast Guard on the night of the 4th of July around 11 p.m. However, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office is the lead agency and Coast Guard assistance was not requested until 12:26 p.m. on July 5th, the following day. So the sheriff waited until the following day to officially request the Coast Guard. And let's not forget, on my last video, I talked about how the sheriff has had an updated press release on July 5th. Where's the original press release? They changed up their story. So then I found this report off of Fox 10 News. The U.S. Coast Guard confirmed that around 11 p.m. it received a call from a friend of Nolan's. Then, 7 minutes later, Nolan's mom, Christine, got a call from them.
This was Warren that called.
Do you remember his words? What did he say?
He said, "Hey, Miss Christine, have you seen Nolan or talked to Nolan?" I said, "No, I thought he was with you guys, you know." He's like, "No, nobody's talked to him. We left the island at, I think he said 3 p.m. and he wanted to stay because he was talking to a girl named Katie." And so then it turned into, Katie is also missing. No one can find her. And the explanation of no one knows this Katie, like we've never met her.
How would they know Katie's missing if they didn't even know who Katie was? So then Katie's sister chimed in. Katie made it home because she was on another boat and with different people. Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. So the question is, where was Nolan after the interaction of Katie? Did Katie see him get on that boat? There is no witnesses of him being on that island after 4 p.m. Now, their lawyer, Ben Crump, talks about this and refers to this as their two conflicting stories. Katie's story is conflicting with the friend's story.
A young woman he was talking to says that, well, Nolan said he was going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys say that Nolan told them he was going to stay and talk to the young woman. It's a contradiction. They're not saying the same thing. One of them is telling the truth, one of them is not. We have to get to the bottom of that.
Was Katie used in their alibi as a pawn? Probably. Not to mention, Nolan's dad went to pick up his keys the following day. After he received the keys, he said those inside the house locked everything and didn't want anything to do what was outside that door. Because clearly they are hiding something. They got the keys, they have the phone, nothing is adding up. There is a gaping hole from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., 7 hours of them. What are they doing? Are they figuring out their alibi altogether? And we can't forget this official who is intertwined in this active investigation, speaking, making a statement on an active investigation with a family member, her stepson, who is involved in the investigation. And she is trying to help them develop an alibi with saying that the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the boat. And how was the boat able to be driven 10 miles away, which is like 30 minutes probably, if it was taking on water? Oh my gosh, my head's about to explode.
My head's about to explode too, because I'd like to know how. I'd like to know how all this stuff is, you know what I'm saying, not being taken into consideration. You know what I'm saying? We got a judge who's making statements, you know what I'm saying, on her, you know, trying to twist up the statements so that these boys can look better, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But why didn't Crump let them, Ben Crump let them search that boat? A lot of stuff could have came out with that. You know what I'm saying? If you guys feel like it's something funky and twisted going on around here in these cases with this governor and these officers and this judge, man, y'all leave a comment down in the comment section. Also, like, subscribe, and share this content, man, so that other like-minded people like you can get some of these some of my content too. But let's try to see what's going on with these cases, man. With these cases, let's follow and keep on going. Next time, tune in. I got another good and some more good bangers going on. All right, and Fear and Fear Files, we signing out. Peace.